Ladies and gentlemen, we have in the room the mayor of the city of Los Angeles that you just applauded. You have Diane Watson, the former member of Congress, and ambassador, and everything else that she's done. You have other elected officials are here, but you have community leaders, and you have ministers and pastors, on and on and on. This is a big day. This is a big day for Los Angeles. Give everybody a big round of applause. Now, I want you to know, when America's greatest civil rights lawyer is in the room, I want you to understand that he is doing some terrific fights for us. This man does not mind going into the courts and suing any and everything that needs to be sued. Give him a big round of applause. And I know that you've got a lot of other lawsuits pending that you will be exercising very soon.
Amen.
So ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is President's Day, and it is Black History Month. But I'm not here to honor George Washington or any other president. I'm here to honor our king, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I just want you to be reminded of who he was and what he did for us. Let us remember that he was born January 15, 1929. He was assassinated April 4th, 1968, at the age of 39 years old. Well, of course, we know all about many of his accomplishments and the fact that he received the Nobel Prize that is so absolutely understood to be the greatest recognition that you can get, the Nobel Peace Prize. Well, we are gathered here at the invitation of Adrian Dove, President and CEO for the 40th Annual Kingdom Day Parade. Adrian Dove is a wise man. I've known him for many, many years. We fought each other. We didn't always agree on anything, but I have the highest respect. Just think, he postponed the Kingdom Day Parade because he knew that we should pay attention to what was going on in Altadena and Pacific Palisades. And so he made it work. And here we are today on President's Day and Black History Month to do what we always do, and that is celebrate and honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Round of applause. I want us to think about his family. I want us to think about his wife. I want us to think about his children. You know, his wife was a civil rights leader in her own right. And she is the one that made sure there is a national holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I want you to know that right here in our own community, she was joined by wonderful Stevie Wonder, who made it all happen. Come on, let's applaud. I started out some years ago, and I'm not going to tell you how many, because you'll think I'm as old as Adrian Dove. I might be, but I ain't telling it. But I want you to know I started out with Celeste King, who was the original founder, and I want you to know that he was but a pup learning at the feet of Celeste King, and he learned well. He learned well, and he's committed his life and his career to this Kingdom Day Parade. He makes sure it happens. And I want to tell you, it is not easy. Yes, we have sponsors, but it's never enough money. Yes, we have those who come at Dr. Martin Luther King's annual celebration and all of that. But I want you to know there's a lot more that can be done. Now, I'm not going to talk about all the sponsors today because some of them I don't get along with so well. But I want you to know that having served as the chair of the Financial Services Committee, I know all of Wall Street, I know every bank, I know how financial systems work. And I'm so appreciative of Wells Fargo and the $2 million that was just mentioned. It should have been $20 million. Oh, they're getting a little nervous right now. But that's okay, because they've made a commitment to Altadena. And we know those are legacy homes up there. Amen. We have second and third generation young people, middle-aged people living in those homes. They've got to be rebuilt. But they can't be rebuilt unless we have significant help from the bank. I want a reduction in down payments. 20% is too much. I want to make sure that people of color are not being charged more interest rates than whites who get these loans. Not just saying everybody, I'm not just saying anybody, but I'm saying all banks. Because I understand so well how they work. So thank you, Wells, for being here today. I'm going to follow you and to make sure that we do everything that can be done. But ladies and gentlemen, let me just say this. At this time of year, we always hear a statement and a question. And people are saying, oh my God, look what's happening to us. What would Dr. Martin Luther King say about this? Well, we all speculate about what he might say. But I know one thing for sure. He would not be a coward. He would not hide. He would not fail to stand up for what's right. We have just experienced an election in November. Ooh. And it was someone who had been president before. Lost to Biden, but had the opportunity to come back and to run an election and to win. You know, when that song was played earlier about America, that was Ray Charles. And he was talking about how wonderful this country is. But I want you to know, we love this country also. We've had to make it a better place. We have fought racism and discrimination, and we are not about to let Trump and Elon Musk and anybody else undermine us, take away our opportunities, and turn this country into a place of the billionaires of the world. We cannot do that. And I want to tell you, now I started on Trump in his first election. And I don't like to say it, but I told you so. I knew he was going to be divisive. I knew that he was going to be harmful. I knew that he was all about himself. And I knew that given the opportunity, he was going to focus on people of color. Adrian, I want you to know, when he rolled out to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, he charged the people of color in the American Airlines plane somehow that they were the cause of it, and he started his campaign right there to let you know that that was a hot item on his agenda, that he was going to go after diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now, I want you to know that hit me right in the stomach. I created the first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Subcommittee of the Congress of the United States of America. I want you to know, serving on financial services, I understand how finance works. I understand what has developed over the years that have excluded most of us and people of color from being able to be on Wall Street, to be CEOs of the major corporations of America. And guess what? Trump is in our face. Not only did he have inauguration, where of course he always claims there's more people attending than not, and was he glad the weather was bad, because he knew that he wouldn't have the numbers that Obama had. But let me just tell you this. This President of the United States of America not only has taken on diversity, equity, and inclusion, but he has charged every office, every department of government to get rid of anything that looks like, sounds like, or acts like diversity, equity, and inclusion. And they had the audacity to tell some people to get out by 5 o'clock. Some they're telling to get out of their offices by 3 o'clock. Well, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like what we were told by these sundown towns. Wow. When they told us, get out of here by 5 o'clock. Ministers in the room, please forgive me, but I ain't taking this shit. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri. I had 12 brothers and sisters. We were poor. We were on welfare most of the time. I want you to know my mom worked in white people's houses, cleaning when she had an opportunity to, in between the babies, etc. I want you to know that I had teachers, happened to be all black for the most part, in the James Weldon Johnson School, elementary school that I went to. And I want you to know that they taught us that we were somebody, no matter how poor we were. They taught us that we have a voice. They came to our homes. They embraced us. And they helped us to keep moving and to do what the talents that we have would allow us to do. And so, when I'm confronted with somebody like Trump and Elon Musk, I know what they're up to, and I'm going to take a little time to tell you. First of all, Elon Musk is in Hawthorne in my district. I'm going to go see him with 400 or 500 people. I want you to know he's running rampant throughout the government. Comager and I were over at the Treasury Department after he had raided it and taken all of our private information. And the Treasury Department is that place where all of the payments that government makes goes through. I don't care what it is, whether it is a nonprofit, whether it's housing, whatever, it all goes through the Treasury Department. He has a database now, and as far as I'm concerned, he's going to monetize it because he has a database that's very, very huge and very important. But now he's in every department. As a matter of fact, he's running wild. He just went into the Energy Department and kicked out some very special people and made such a big mistake, he's trying to call them back. Guess what? They were in charge of the nuclear program in this country. They're the ones who kept us safe. They're the ones who monitored. They're the ones who were focused on nuclear. And he kicked them out, and of course he learned whom they are, and now they're trying to get them back, and some of the people said, no, I ain't coming. No, I'm not coming back. But I want you to know that they put out something called Project 2025. They told you what they were going to do. They told you that they were going to close down the Department of Education. Didn't they tell you? Yes. And why they're closing it down? That's all the student loans. That's Title I programs for all of the money that comes into the schools of low-income communities. Most of all of Los Angeles and South LA, and whether you're talking about New York or where you're talking about St. Louis, all of that Title I money is directed for these young people so that they can get an education. But I'm convinced they don't want us to continue to be educated. I'm convinced when you look at Florida and they're banning books and they're saying you won't teach slavery, on and on and on. We were doing too well as we keep to progress. But now, no matter what we've done, there's a huge wealth gap that may never be closed. But we've got to fight to try and do it because we love this country. We are part of this country. We have to make it a better country, and we deserve the wealth that others have that we've not been able to achieve because we've been cut out of the opportunity. We've been denied the opportunity. And so, I want you to know that the President of the United States is issuing these orders every day. I have the whole book of them all right here. I don't have them all, it's only 49 of them in this book. But it's from everything from education to public housing, everything. And I want you to know this. We went over to the Department of Education early in the morning, it's Coliseum in Washington. We went, about 20 of us. And we said we came because we want to know about this woman that you put in charge of education that doesn't know a darn thing about education. We want to know why you did that. Of course, they were expecting us, and they stood, as you saw it on television, you saw the security guard stand in front of the door. Now, if I'd been a little younger, I would have knocked him out. However, the muscles don't continue to work the same way they did when you're younger, because I was an athlete now. But we stood there and we engaged him. We said to him, "Who are you? Give me your ID." I asked him for it 3 times. The 4th time, I asked for it. He showed it every time, but I kept asking him for it every time he put it back in his pocket. And he said, "Fine, well, I showed it to you already." I said, "Well, show it to me again. I want to see whom you are. I'm here fighting for you to have a job. I'm here fighting for your children to have an education. Get on back and let us in." Of course, he did not do it, but we got to show up. We got to be there. We've got to be at Treasury. We've got to be at education. We've got to be everywhere that we can. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, we were there. And at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which we created under the Dodd-Frank reforms, we made sure that you had some place to tell people you were being ripped off and call government. So I see Adrian is here. He's afraid I'm going to tell you some more, and I will if I could. But here's the final word. The final word is this. Our democracy is under attack. We will lose our democracy if Trump and the billionaires that you saw at his inauguration own this country. And I'm talking about these giant stores that we participate and spend our money in every day. You've got to show up. You've got to fight. You've got to understand that if we're to save the democracy, that the only way it's going to happen after they try to run over the courts is the people are going to have to be in the street. Are you willing? Yeah. I did not hear you. Yeah. Are you willing? Yeah. All right, for all of you who said you got my back, I want you to be with me when I show up and I call on you to stand with me. If you can't do it, don't say you got my back, because you don't have my back. Thank you.